Vienna is a city steeped in history. A great empire was ruled from here. Artists, writers, and musicians have found inspiration, and the founding father of psychology, Sigmund Freud, lived and worked here. It's a pretty interesting mix, and for those scratching their heads for inspiration, there's no better place to be. That certainly looks to be the case for some of the world's greatest poker players who gathered here at the Montesino in an attempt to crack the party poker big game. A little bit of history, a touch of psychology, and a lot of inspiration are what's needed to master this game. For this is no ordinary game of poker. Not only are some of the best players in the world here, they're playing under immense pressure. It's 48 hours of non-stop action. There's player evictions, vast amounts of cash, and plenty of pride at stake. All of that has given us some fascinating games so far and promises plenty more to come. Here's what's happened.
The last few hours have seen the big game boil down to 6 stalwarts, 3 of whom have been around this table for close to 18 hours. They've needed every bit of wit and guile to survive. Some have managed better than others. J.P. Kelly, a 2-time WSOP bracelet winner, was the first to make a big statement as he took on the Jungle Man.
Ouch.
His trip 8's enough to turn a profit.
He snapped called him.
He sure did. Jungle Man decided to call it quits, having lost nearly 60,000. Phil Laak continued to show an immaculate sense of timing. This is going to be fun.
12 house. Wow. Wow.
Jungle Man is just going down, down, down. Sam Trickett, one of the original men to sit down 18 hours ago, was having a tough time. Successes were few and far between, but a notable triumph came against the Jungle Man.
Oh my God, he's making it really big now. That's beautiful.
But his luck ran out when faced with Mizzi's trip 8s. There you go.
There you go.
A couple of clashes with Ignat Liviu saw both players travel in opposite directions on the leaderboard. Liviu the happier of the two.
Wow. Now we got a game.
Basil Yaiche, one of the newest recruits to the table, kept a low profile until an irresistible pair of kings presented themselves.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
He does make the fold. He's in pain, Sam Trickett. The session finished with Mike Sexton coming out on the wrong end in a clash with J.P. Kelly. Oh, he's really just gotten in a bad spot. Sexton in a very tough spot there. The story of the leaderboard, a welcome sight for Phil Laak and Ignat Liviu. J.P. Kelly and Basil Yaiche all in good shape, but 2 players struggling at the moment. Sexton and Trickett looking to add to their stacks to keep things going. So we've had 32,000 euros extra just topped up on this table. Trickett topping up to 40K and Sexton topping back up to 20.
Sorel, how did you feel when you got in there fresh? How did it feel? The other players that were there for quite a long time. You think their game deteriorated a little?
Well, to be perfectly honest, you know, I think Phil and Jungle Man are like not human. You know, like they just don't experience fatigue like a normal human being would. So, you know, those two I definitely didn't think, especially Phil. I mean, he's just a machine.
Wow. Wow.
1,400.
Ill 1,400 ball with the deuce 3 offsuit.
Yeah, she's got game.
he's got 2 no-siders. Maybe he hasn't seen his cards yet. You know, like in Baccarat, you could sweat it, and no side could be 2 aces. So.
You are so sick. you do that, don't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. 100%.
It's like, what kind of question is that?
Oh my.
It's part of, yeah, I mean, it's a big part of the game for me.
And that's part of I know that's the school of Roland DeWolf. I just
Oh, yeah.
know.
Oh,
that, like,
Oh.
He taught me everything I know about squeezing, for sure.
I mean, that's a really loose call by Ignat, isn't it? I mean, this hand plays not so good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, not really.
Yeah, not really. I think I'm surprised by my call, actually.
Yeah, maybe I'm just being results oriented.
I
He's
don't care.
overcalled there for the ace-10, and he's out of position.
Out of position and out of character, really, for Mike. Maybe he's steaming a little bit from that.
It's hard to
And-
fold suited aces, you know? It's
Of course it's hard, but
in
it's Mike Sexton.
2012, you know? It's but yeah, I mean, a little surprising for Mike.
It looks very pretty, the ace-10 of spades.
It does. You can flop a royal flush. How could you fold?
Wow, you just get the feeling that this, and it was a little bit looking like you in there, Sorel. This guy has come in all rested, and he's just gonna just cream these guys, if you know what I mean, you know?
Definitely. I mean, personally, I actually went to sleep at around 12 o'clock, or no, maybe like 1 o'clock in the morning, woke up at about 5, had a little workout, actually really hurt my back doing the workout, but coming in mentally very, very strong, and I was pretty card dead for the first like hour or so.
Yeah.
But then, you know, and I didn't really want to like force things. I kind of just, I was content with like sitting back and, you know, kind of just like feeling out the table a little more. So, but I definitely felt like I had a mental advantage over the players. Other than Phil Laak, of course, who's just
Superhuman.
Yeah, he's
got superhero T-shirts.
He's,
Of course he's a superhero.
he's reached like a new level of evolution. Like, you know,
Definitely a step ahead.
Does the game play better 6-handed right now, or is 8-handed okay as well?
well, you know, generally, the lower amount of players, the more action you're gonna get. So, you know, I think 6-handed is definitely, it's probably why the game has gotten so much more aggressive.
So this pot was just opened for 300 by JP and flatted by Laak
Yeah.
with the queens.
And it goes check on the flop too. Wow.
Phil Laak, the mind of a genius.
And
Now,
of
look at
course,
that.
of course.
It just bings
It's like,
off.
why not? It's so obvious and clear. It's just, why didn't I not? I mean,
Oh my gosh.
Just will it in. Now's the big splash. No.
Wow, I
Oh, so
can't-
the river is the big splash of yellow. Do you know he made a huge bluff
with nothing.
on
At
JP
all.
on the river earlier? And I mean, it was ridiculous. It was the same line.
Yeah, I want to
It was
ask you
the
about
same
that
line.
hand
Really,
actually.
eh?
And JP must know about it
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe setting him up for this.
now. Oh, no.
I'm not sure.
Of course he
I
is.
wonder if,
He's going to stick in 6 yellows. 6 yellows.
Yeah?
you know what, Phil might just call
No, I
here.
think he just called.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought Phil would raise the turn.
The turn, yeah.
Just because, like, JP can never re-raise there. And if he does, then obviously Phil's beat, or, you know, I mean, it's just, like, not a spot where people re-raise very often.
Phil Laak steadily building his stack as he increases the pressure on his fellow big gamers. More to come after the break. Just have a look at the big winners and big losers so far in the big game. Listen, we're not even 24 hours in. Phil Laak's been at the table from the start. Roberto did a little hit and run, but Ignat now one of the big winners. And Sorel, you took a little load away with you.
That was nice.
JP's on the board. We got a bunch of the biggest winners at the table right now, which just goes to show you, you know, how big these pots are right now.
Now I can see why Jungle Man was so tilted.
Didn't feel like
It didn't
that though.
feel like it when you're watching it, you know, because it just
it-
kept topping up, topping up.
We didn't realize he was stuck so bad until the massage girl was clearly more tired than him and just
Yeah,
It was-
I actually thought Sam was down about that, and Jungle Man was down about the amount of that Sam was. So, Sam, I guess he made it seem like he was stuck a lot more.
New player sitting into the table. Now I know this name, but I don't know if I've. Is he? You must know this name.
I've
maybe,
seen him
Sorel?
before,
Yeah.
and I don't know how I know this, but I know he's from Quebec.
Samuel Chartier. You know what I think? I think he's part of the Duhamel crowd. Is that
Yes,
possible?
yeah.
I think they're friends, him and Duhamel. That might be why I know that. So,
And I think he might even be friendly with Scott Baumstein. Do you know Scott?
I don't know that name, no.
Okay.
But I've seen him around the circuit, and I don't think I've ever played with him before.
Now, interesting dynamic right out of the gate. Chartier opens up the 4-6 of diamond. Mike Sexton free bets the ace queen, and Yaiche is thinking here with the 9-10 of diamond. It looks like he's got a plan here.
Yeah, this guy's come to play, Chartier,
Yep.
huh? So it's 300, and what is Mike made?
300 to 1100 to Chartier. That's gonna pop it up again, I think. I like that. Yep.
Wow.
Well,
I like Chartier. I like the way he plays it.
I like it
Oh!
too. But doesn't look like he's gonna like it very much.
Ignat wakes up with kings, and that's probably gonna be the end of it.
Is it just the end of it? Is that all you just...
Yeah.
I mean, you never know. Like he might think that he's trying to pick up on something that he was cold 3-betting with, or cold 4-betting with there. So
That's
there's
a
definitely
big
a
level
chance.
game there.
Yeah.
That's a big.
It doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while.
Yeah, of course.
He should be 5-betting here with a certain amount of air certain times. Like a good player should know that he's capable of that.
Yeah, I mean, he was the one who made the cold 4-bet with the king 7, but this seems like a much different spot. But it was a strong...
I mean, Mike's only got 17,000, so
Right.
it feels like he has a hand because he kind of has to call Mike if he shoves. So it doesn't seem like a great spot to 5-bet with air. And, but there's also nothing really, he can't really do anything besides 5-bet. So it's just one of those things you got to hope someone has queens.
Right.
Raise 300. Raise 1,200.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how the new players change their dynamic at the table. A little, maybe not as well known, Yaiche and Chartier.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming in fresh, they're young, they probably had a lot of,
Heads up.
probably very well rested. So, and Sam just looks really tired right now.
He does. He really
just
does.
looks like he doesn't really want to be here, but he feels like he has to.
I mean, he announced at the beginning that he was gonna play the whole 48 hours, so maybe that's playing in the back of his mind a little bit.
Definitely.
4-bet 2,400.
Now that's a big bet. What does that mean to you? I know JP's got the nuts, but
It's hard to say what it means because Phil Laak is just so random. I'm not sure what he's trying to make it mean, but it'll be interesting to see what Phil does here on the turn because that big bet. Sometimes people get attached after making that big bet, and they just kind of continue with it. So if Phil bets the turn here, it's almost safe to say that he's going to bet the river. And he's just going to go for the full, the full commitment to the hand.
check.
But it looks like after checking the turn, he's got to be giving up. That big bet on the flop was kind of designed just to weed out, any hand that.
Check.
Oh wow. Phil definitely is capable of just making a huge bet here and trying to get JP to fold a lower pair after JP checks here. And if Phil bets, it's going to be a big bet.
JP's made a really nice check.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow, he didn't go for it.
Showdown, please.
Wow.
Phil Laak doesn't take the bait. Just checks it every. But somehow, if JP had the pocket nines, Phil would have found a 3x bet on the river and got him to fold. So again, it's just a perfect example of how great Phil's timing is today.
For raise
I'm not going to do
300.
it because you might have a full house, so I'm not going to do it. But it probably would have won.
That so many of these guys, they have different kinds of experience, but when you play lots and lots of long sessions with the same people, you just sort of, you understand the rhythms of the game, maybe, you know, and maybe that's just something that Laak does really well.
Absolutely, yeah. He's very good at understanding game flow dynamic, and I mean, I'm sure there's been days where his timing's been off, and this is probably like a case where, you know, like it just seems like everything's going right. So I don't know. It's just,
Yeah.
he's definitely. But again, he's really good at game flow dynamic and just understands a lot about things that are outside of the actual cards itself, which is definitely important as a poker player to understand.
Now,
5 card.
Basil, these guys are aware that he is 3-betting hands from the button quite often.
Is that what just happened? It was a raise
Yeah,
and a 3-bet?
yeah, it was opened by Laak, called by Chartier, and then the 3-bet by Basil from the button.
5 check.
And look at these guys just looking at Basil. Chartier looks like he's going to eat him or something.
Yeah, I mean, Yaiche's got to continue with his story here and bet, especially when there's 3 people in the pot. He can't even like really justify checking and making it look like a certain hand.
Chartier has quite a stare right there.
I mean,
I might have to get my sunglasses.
Phil's got his own thing going on.
4 fold.
Wow, that's a stare. That's a scary one.
Those stares make me uncomfortable. I don't like being stared at like that. I'm seriously considering getting some sunglasses on.
5 card.
Yep.
Yeah, I know Basil's a good young player, but if you can double barrel this,
He's scared.
The guy looks
He's
at you.
scared.
If you can double barrel
He's
it,
scared.
just good luck to you.
He's scared.
Well, if there's gonna be
That's
any
a good
card
barrel
that-
card.
That
Yeah.
is the one.
That's
You know,
a really good barrel card.
It gives him a lot more outs too, and it's easy to represent that hand. But then again, you know, like
Are you really betting an ace there on the turn?
I think you have to. Yeah, I think you absolutely have to. You know, it's giving you an opportunity to continue with your story.
If you have ace jack, ace queen there, do you barrel there?
Yes.
Yes.
I probably bet quite small.
So make it like 45 again like you did. Maybe even less, 35 like you did before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might even make it a little bigger, just so he knows like a king is in my range as well, type of thing.
7 bet. 4,900.
Yeah, that's great.
That's
a good
great.
bet.
It's Yaiche. He's got it. He's got it.
He's
He's good. Now the stare is not so convincing anymore all of a sudden. Chartier. Because what do you do on the river? Yaiche has the free barrel bluff in him. I think he does.
Definitely.
And he call here, he
Maybe
makes it 12-5 on the river or something crazy. Even bigger.
I can't really see Yaiche calling
Yeah.
here. Or sorry, Chartier calling. I could see him raising,
Wow.
but folding and raising are
Nice hand, Yaiche.
This kid is a player. This kid is a great player. This is going to be fun. And actually, guys, I'm going to just leave you here. I'm going to step out.
Okay.
I've been here since the start. I'm going to take a little break and watch it on the player, and I'll be back in a little while.
Get some rest, Jesse.
If you get back in the game, Sorel, tear them up.
I will. Now that I know what their hole cards are.
That kind of helps, doesn't
So
it?
we raise 350. 8 fold. 2 card. 3 4.
Oh,
4 card. 5 fold.
Now back to the action. They
6
got a
fold.
4-way pot, it seems like.
People just don't like to fold, do they? It's got all the cards from 9 to king covered.
And look at this.
And look at this flop. Yeah. All the cards from 9 to king covered, and
Yep.
somehow a jack and a queen come on the board.
There should be a little bit of action here.
Are you sure the floor person's not handing these decks to the dealer? It just seems pretty rigged right now.
Yeah.
Everyone's got
Rethink
something.
online poker when you watch this, guys.
Yeah. How about a king ball on the turn? How about that?
That would be
900.
pretty juicy.
A nice little king of spades, you know, just keep it nice and dry.
2 card. 4
Give the straight, the 2 pairs.
I was a little surprised by the snap fold there.
Yeah.
And
6 fold. Heads up.
now a little more value here from Yaiche, or is he gonna pot control a little bit, you think?
I think he's gonna bet here.
Yeah.
Given like how I've seen him
Board
play.
texture and everything.
Yeah, and also just he's just like the type of player to bet with bluffs and bet with his value hands in this spot.
7 bet.
Seems like his range is really well balanced every single time.
4,700.
He's
Yeah,
got
absolutely. He's putting people in bad spots, and you know that's the benefit of betting. Wow, that's a
bets
pretty
big.
bet. Yeah, and
he's
it's
tricky, this Yaiche.
a
Oh,
good bet too.
I'm probably butchering his name, by the way. I'm sorry about that. But
Yeah, I think both of us are butchering it in different ways. I think he's gonna fold. I think he's gonna like throw up in his mouth a little and fold.
yeah,
2 fold.
good fold. Still very disciplined, despite the fact that he must feel definitely a little frustrated there, Sam.
Yeah, when things aren't going your way and then you connect, it's hard to let go.
Sam Trickett is a man waging a war with the big game. He started out on the wrong foot and has struggled ever since. But this man won't give up. Trickett's struggle and so much more coming up after the break. Welcome back to Vienna, home for the 48-hour cash game that is the Party Poker Big Game 6.
Phil Laak's still the big winner. Sam Trickett slowly inching down. Small pot. Of course, Mike Sexton. I mean, unlucky in a way with the kings against the ace-jack. Samuel Chartier just sat at the table. It's going to be interesting. A little bit on the tightish side, Sorel. What do you think of the stats so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really conclusive, obviously,
Yeah.
like with this few hands. Like even Phil Laak, who's been here for, 328 hands, it looks like, it's still not really a good representation of the accurate number, but, obviously it is more so than any of the other players. The stats are going to be more accurate for Sam and Phil's larger sample sizes. There's been a lot of people getting kings.
Yep.
Looks like JP, they're being passed around quite a bit, so
They are going clockwise.
I think like 5 of the 7 players have gotten kings in the last hour or so, and Sam's got 8s here, so he's gonna peel one off. And
JP's been awfully quiet here for a bit now. Picked up a big hand. And that's a pretty actiony board. I mean,
yeah, it's gonna get a little interesting here. They both have the overpairs, so
3 check.
it's definitely not gonna go check fold. Oh wow, both check.
Bet. 600.
So they both checked on the flop, and now JP is, or sorry, Trickett ends up leading the turn. JP
go
just
check
calls.
on the
This is
flop?
yeah, this is actually a really snug way to play this hand. I'm surprised.
Wow.
I'm surprised, but I'm also like, I can definitely see the reasoning
Sure.
from JP to check here, because
It's not the prettiest of board for kings in a way.
Yeah,
and
and
also for deception.
Sam's very capable of raising on the flop and putting JP in a very difficult spot.
And then your
so-
life just sucks.
Yeah, JP doesn't want to be in a spot where he's being bet off the value of his hand, and
What happens here, though? Does he raise for value, JP? It looks like a blocking bet here by Trickett.
yeah, I would really love a raise from JP, and I think he's going to do it. Cause
Make it 5. Because he's not supposed to have a 6 in his range, obviously, and I don't know, he might get paid off.
he might get paid off with,
10 is never raising.
I think,
Yeah,
Yes,
there you go.
3,500.
you know what, 3,500 was the
That's
exact
pretty
number
sweet.
in my head, and I think it's a good raise size. Because if he makes it too much, it's almost like, I don't know, it kind of does the same thing. So, but I think Sam is way more likely to call 2,500 than he is to
A
call
5 or
raise.
6K raise, yeah.
And JP might be sensing Sam's frustration a little, and like, you know, it's gotten to the point where, you know, Sam just might not be
He's just
so
sick of
willing.
it,
Yeah.
But I mean, this is where the dynamics again change. This is where Sam has been losing his money on those little value raises, on the little, you know, is this gonna just kind of, no, he's just good like that.
Yep.
He just
Well,
never
you know,
tilts at all.
These are two guys that have probably played a ton
Wow.
of hands together, so I just don't think that Sam thinks that JP would get out of line in that
Right.
spot.
Still impressive after 16 hours, and you know, you're thinking you're down 27, you know, just pay 2K more for peace of mind, you know, like kind of happiness equity in that pot, or just
sure.
peace of mind equity, but no, he's just good that way.
Yep. You know, it's more important to him to make the best play than it is for that peace of mind equity, I guess.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, you gotta give Sam a lot of credit here for, you know, being in a spot where he should be frustrated, but not, you know, letting it affect his game.
4 fold. 5 raise, 300. 6 fold. 7 call.
I'll make you sweat for 5 or 10 minutes.
Doing 60 grand. Not really bothered.
Oh, anyways.
8 fold.
I do know what.
2 fold.
Okay.
Three fold. That's all.
All right, so Sorel's getting back in the game. Thanks for being with us. In the meantime, Yaiche and Chartier in a pot together.
It's not a bad spot for a raise. For me.
5 bet.
I've never bluffed.
400.
Standard continuation bet by Chartier to 400. And I think probably Yaiche's gonna let this one go.
Yeah.
Or not. Deciding for a float maybe.
7 raise. 900.
Definitely Yaiche. Basil online. He's got a lot of gears, and just as Sorel walks out of the room, we got another amazing player. Just things keep getting better and better. Fabrice, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you, Giovanni. I'm happy to be here with you.
Good friend, Fabrice. You probably can explain. Oh wow, that's an action card. if Yaiche, first of all, Fabrice, we need some help here. Basil, how do you pronounce this? He's a French player. Maybe you know him. You can give us a little more info.
Yeah, his surname is Basil online, I guess, and he's supposedly a very aggressive player, very creative. I think he's one of the specialists heads up. I mean, he's been playing some sit and goes heads up, if I'm not wrong, I guess. So I think
he's been really impressive so far. I'm gonna tell you. The whole commentary of the last few hours was whoever came in the booth did not know the guy and was just very impressed by his style. Bet sizing were always perfect. Just really good, solid player in general.
Yeah, he's supposedly a very good player, and I'm not surprised you're gonna see some nice moves and nice movements in chips. I mean, he's not afraid to put his chips in the middle, and he could pull out some great bluffs too. And I mean, yeah, it's probably a very. I mean, it's actually I think the first time I see him play with the whole cards, you know, live. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting.
That's what we thought. Like one of those players that obviously had a lot of success online, and it's kind of at that point in his career where, you know, a big show like the big game, Premier League, those kind of situations where you can really show what you can do.
Yeah, and he's folding.
And he's folding the jack. It's just, you know, he's just doing everything right there. I mean, he took a stab at it. Even when he hits the jack, does not care.
Online reputations put to the test in this big game as the clock ticks and the reality of Phil Laak looms large. More to come after the break. Welcome to the Austrian capital, which is playing host to the Party Poker Big Game 6. In this grand setting, 7 players are fighting hard for the honors. One man has emerged from the pack to take a commanding lead. Phil Laak has clear waters between himself and the rest of the field. JP Kelly, Ignat, Liviu, and Basil Yaiche are in profit. But just about to step into the action, the one and only Sorel Mizzi.
Sorel Mizzi is back. He was voted off earlier. Some people would go and sleep, you know, considering you'd been playing for a while. You went and did some commentary. What's that about?
Well, they asked me to do commentary, and I obviously said yes because I did plan on coming back to the game. And obviously that gives me a big advantage, being able to see the table dynamic and being able to see everyone's cards without having to actually like ante up, you know, like. So I went that route, and I'm not really tired, you know. I'm not one of the guys who have been like the OGs who have been on the table for like the last 24 or 36 hours or whatever. So I'm actually just still on my regular day cycle, and you know, I woke up at like 6 in the morning or whatever. So I'm feeling good. You know, I'm still very mentally like have that awareness and that razzle dazzle or whatever you call it. So I'm not fatigued at all. I'm ready to get back in.
Sorel Mizzi back at the table with his original stack. It's going to be interesting to see how he adapts to his newfound, actually found again, friends at the table. Back with 40K, so pretty deep. He's been playing great. It's going to be fun to watch, Fabrice.
Oh yeah, Sorel is always very entertaining to watch. I mean, he has a game. I played with him actually in the main event yesterday, so it was interesting. At WPT here in Vienna, we played together.
How was that? Tell us about it.
It was short, so I was the one making action at the table. He was just sitting there and trying to push. He didn't. I guess he didn't. He was changed. He was moved from to another table later on. 9s, ace jack, and ace queen. It's been. It's a good flop for Basil.
Yep.
He's been the razor pre-flop, I guess, right?
Yeah, and he's gonna continue like he always does. Probably make it pretty small.
7 bets, 300.
Yeah, see, he's got this very nice bet sizing, always like half of the pot or a little less. He leaves a lot of room, and now Phil goes for the check, big check raise. Wow.
4,200.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a great timing for Basil, because if you say so, he's been doing this a lot, c-betting a lot.
Yes.
This time he really had the goods, and I don't think he's gonna fold this. Oh my!
Wow.
Whoa!
That was quick. And it's just working. That's what I've been telling you. He's doing all these strange things, and you think, okay, now Basil is in a good spot. Phil Laak, you know, is...
That's very
Wow.
I mean, he respects Phil Laak a lot to fold so fast.
Wow.
He didn't even take 20 seconds. I mean, Basil doesn't need a lot of time to sink. That's we know that because he's been playing online so much.
Right.
He takes decision right away. But still, I mean, I think on this one he could have taken like few seconds. Wow. He just didn't want. Decided he wouldn't get involved in a big pot. I mean, without the goods, probably. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. Again, it's just funny how it's always Phil that's getting himself in those strange spots where, I don't know, he's probably very polarized there. It's like the nuts or nothing. What are you raising on that flop, really? Is it
Yeah.
6?
8-9 or I
8-9
don't know.
or that's it, pretty much.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it.
one's too much.
I mean, he would probably raise with 8s also. I don't know, with 5s.
The same. He's been extra
Any
pretty
pair would raise. If Basil has been very aggressive and very c-betting like 100% of the time, like
Yeah.
you were saying, I mean, I would raise a lot. I wouldn't even put bluff in my ranges. That's why I would call with 9s if I went in Basil.
And then I tracked it. The last
Basil
three I
head.
tracked and I saw, oh yeah, he just scrapes from the these thing and hey, what, you know.
In 2012, these guys represent poker, and it's good that it's got a good, clean image. And you know,
Straight folds.
they've seen it all so many times, they're used to it, even the bad beats.
Four raise.
And of course, we got Mike on the table with like the definition of ambassador and you know,
Obviously.
the clean face of poker. Look at him.
Folds.
He's a lover of the game. I mean, he loves the game. And
Of course, and he doesn't get to play it that much anymore because of all the commentary and just representing.
But at least he started playing some WPT.
Yeah,
again,
he
right?
did. He
Lately,
did. He
yeah.
final tabled one. They were pretty afraid of who's gonna commentate now that Mike almost made it to the final table. But so back to the action here. We got an open with the ace-4 by. Was it the ace-4 that opened?
Yeah, Phil Laak raised with
Yeah.
ace-4 spade. Yaiche, Basil called with 5 deuce and Trickett from the big blind, I guess.
Yep. Final flop's a big hand, but nobody's got anything.
Call jack 9. And he checks. So jack 9 from the big. Laak don't see bet behind, but Basil
750.
is taking the lead. He's trying to take the lead on this one, but I guess it's not going to work because Sam Trickett flopped up 2. I'm interested to see how he's gonna, because it's a very rich board, very drawy board.
Very drawy board for sure. Probably
So-
gonna play it a little fast. Yeah. 20.
Raise.
Yeah, it's playing a little fast, of course, because it's
3200.
too drawy. You want to be able
Four
probably to
folds.
put a big bet on the turn if.
Yep. 3,200. And now Yaiche here, I mean, he's only got bottom pair with a couple of backdoors, but he doesn't like to give up pots, this kid.
And he's got position, and now
Yeah.
maybe in his head is happening something like, oh, maybe he's got the draw.
Right.
Maybe I got the best hand here. Maybe I can outplay him on the turn. I mean,
Definitely interesting to see. See, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Raise.
Not only he doesn't fold, he
6 to 7.
bumps it up to
Yeah.
Almost 7,000, 6,700, I think.
that's a problem with
Yep.
when you're very
67,
aggressive.
50.
Sometimes you put yourself in some situations like that, and an experienced player like some Trickett is gonna catch you when you overplay your hand, or you want to put too much pressure on your opponent. Sometimes when they flop a monster, they can catch you. So Basil.
C2 raise all in.
Oh, okay.
7
So he really didn't want to play the turn, to see the turn.
Yeah,
sound.
I was gonna ask you, Fabrice. Would you have just called if you're Sam Trickett here, even though it's a super drawy board,
Yeah,
or
that's
do
a
you just
problem.
bomb it?
That's a problem against an opponent like Basil. Do you want to do this, or just take the 6,000 that he just gave it? I like the play. I like the Sam play in this position. Seems happy about it, but
Yeah.
maybe you can let him bluff once. It's just like there's so many scary cards on the turn that
Yeah, what card is not scary on the turn? I mean,
you need a.
kings are bad. Obviously, the eights, all the clubs. Yeah, so many bad cards. A little bit of morality bust there for
Blind
Sam
space,
Trickett.
small
Not that
blind.
he needs it, I mean, but it helps you win a little pot here and there.
Yes, he's back.
4 folds, 5, 6 fold.
And it seems like he's gonna continue on the pattern
Number 8,
that he
raise
had before. He
300.
starts a little tight,
1 fold.
gets a feeling for the game again, and then obviously opens up a little more.
That's usually a good strategy.
Yeah.
Even though he's been watching all this
Right.
his opponent for hours.
I'm
but
really
still.
curious. I'm really curious about how he adapts the game after watching these guys play.
Yeah, the problem is here we're watching some players with such a good level that how do you adapt? I mean,
Exactly.
they're not going to do mistakes. So you know a little more, yeah, because you a little more in their head because you have the state of mind at the moment. But don't hope for too many mistakes. I mean, oh, it's an interesting flop between Kelly, who flopped a flush draw with a king high, with a king, and Liviu with top pair, queen 9. Kelly checked, Liviu called from the button. Liviu bet, sorry, 450 from the button. Liviu check raise here. No,
raise,
Yeah.
he just called.
1400.
No, it looks like
Oh.
I
Oh,
check
yeah,
raise
yeah,
to
you're right,
1400.
you're right.
And from what we've seen by Liviu, he doesn't like to fold hands a lot.
Okay.
So this could be a pretty interesting and big one. and you know, JP's always been kind of aware of that, but also playing a little conservative out of position. Now it's one of the first times I think that he goes for a check raise with a draw out of position here. So you got to give him some credit for a
Yeah,
hand.
maybe he's taking advantage of his
Yeah.
image if he has a very tight image, because JP knows where we're at all the time.
Re-raise? That's interesting. What do you think of this play?
I think he's right at the moment to seeing the cards, but
But it's strange, right? Because I mean,
That's it.
you make only, and yeah, you protect yourself from a draw a little bit, but you can only get called by stuff that beats you
Yep.
in a way. Huh? That's interesting. I don't
think GP is gonna like that now
No.
because he's got but he still calls because he only gets a king high flush. I mean, he could be against a queen and
and a flush draw.
a queen and a
or-
flush draw or an
or a-
ace flush draw, which would be devastating.
That's another interesting card
That's
right
a
there.
Very interesting card.
Now JP also has a gut shot with the free.
Got shot with a 3, an overcard, still with a king and a flush draw.
Do you think here Ignat maybe pot controls a little bit and checks back the turn or not?
I don't see how he can bet big again, but maybe he can. Uh-oh, GP is gonna lead, long bet.
Wow.
Here. Interesting.
Wow. I mean, the guy is always spot on. I mean, Ignat doesn't have much at all here. Seriously, he's only bluff catching, and somehow JP thought, why would he? Wow.
If I'm in the seat of Liviu, I'm like, what the hell is
Yeah.
holding here? I mean, it's a headache. What JP could represent here? What is he trying to represent?
Ace free a club, free 6 a club, a set that wants to protect.
I mean, he's probably gonna put GP on a better queen. That's what I would put GP on. Now he wants to protect his queen jack or king queen. Yeah, that's exactly what GP. Why GP did that? To play it like he had a king queen or a queen jack, and he wanted to protect this hand against a draw. So I think it's a pretty good play.
And even if he get raised at that point, unless
still
it's
have
really
enough.
booked, they still have 50k behind, so he's kind of getting the right price to try to spike the club or the free. I mean, this guy is just amazing, JP
It's a
Kelly.
great semi-bluff at this point on the turn. Yeah, donk bet like this, it's great.
6 folds. 7 folds.
Whoa,
And
Sit
now,
raise,
right after
300.
that hand,
I like it.
Yep.
As a timing, it's great.
Yep. You won't get a lot of credit, and here Sorel knows the guy very well.
Yeah, look at
and-
that.
Sit 1,
Yep.
raise.
Fortunately, just call, but it's when you lost a big pot and you have a big hand just behind that, it's great.
And everybody's getting food at the table now. Of course, let's not forget that these guys have been, most of these guys have been,
1050.
all the guys eating actually have been here since the very beginning. So it makes a lot of sense.
So what happened now? Leave you raise and look what that.
Yeah,
what
Sorel re-raised to 1,050 with the 710 in position.
He said, if you're tilting, I'm gonna punish you. But Sorel, be careful. The guy is tilting with the nuts, almost a nuts.
Almost. Still.
Ignat Liviu. No, I've never played with Ignat. It's probably the only player you were saying is one of the big players online.
Yeah,
25, 50?
he's apparently Sorel was giving us the information. He's from Romania and is a very well-known grinder at the 2550. So I mean, which is that level? If you don't go to the nosebleeds, the 100, 200s and up, where like all the crazy guys, those 30 guys in the world can play that probably. It's probably the toughest level online for actual grinders. So he's showing us the good. He started a little strange. He looked a little bit like a calling station at the beginning, but I think he was just getting information out there. And now he's crushing it. He doesn't seem ready to give up, Sorel, does he? Not yet.
6,600.
I hope he doesn't level himself, because he knows the guy. He thinks the guy is probably on tilt, so that's why he decided to 3-bet. But now look at that, he 5-bet. Wow. He's kind of leveling himself, Sorel, a little bit on this one.
I think the fact that he was in the booth for a little bit kind of affects him right now.
It's exciting to see them play like this. I want to go, you know.
Absolutely. I don't blame you, Fabrice. You should get in there later. I mean,
yeah, not if I get excited like Sorel does now, and I level myself for 6K. So, are we gonna see a flop? Because it could be interesting now if Liviu was calling like a little bit tilting, you know, right away. I think that could be.
He took a little too much time, but your line is very interesting. If he just
That's what I
like
would do now.
snap call right there, like I'm tilting,
like,
yes,
okay,
yes.
let's go. You want to gamble? I'll
Yes.
gamble with you.
11,200.
These guys know each other, and I mean, I'm still an online player. I can't help it. I see this stuff coming. It's like click back, give the illusion of fold equity. Because Sorel's got exactly 30K behind now. So, I mean, if he's doing that with air, wow. I mean,
it would be good if he had a 9-10 suited or something like that for a call.
7s or 10s, maybe.
Of course.
He ships it! He ships it! He ships it! Oh my God! He ships it.
He levels himself.
Oh
too
wow!
much.
And of course it's a call.
He's not gonna be happy about the call. Wow! Look at that.
It was all in a call.
Ouch!
What do you mean you need a king? Oh, okay.
You need a king.
Yeah, I need a lot of help.
Wow! He just lost it there, Fabrice.
Yeah.
He just got. The click back just got you him.
You know what? If you decide to make a play, I mean, I'm not going to criticize the play of
No.
It's a huge play. I mean, he's a monster player, but I'd rather do it with a 9-10 suited till if I want to go to
a little bit of value, right?
You know, a little bit of value more than 10-7 off, because it's going to be. Oh, they don't show the hand. Oh my God,
that's pretty much over.
Tough.
That's a huge. That's probably the biggest spot we had so far. Maybe not the biggest, but close. 75,000 euro in the pot,
Yeah,
and that's
flop,
it.
and
That's it.
That's over.
That's it.
Liviu's gonna win. He's gonna take the money. 75,000.
Wow.
It's human. I mean, you lose a big pot, you want to get your money back. You know, you want to take all the chance to get your money back. But maybe the best chance to get your money back is patience and come back in the games little by little.
Big pot, and look at Ignat. All of a sudden, he's a winner for 53,400 euros. That's crazy.
Yeah. It was kind of an easy job for him on this one.
Yes. No sweat. Just put the 5 on the turn.
Boom. Drawing dead. For Sorel, and now it might change the whole dynamic of the game, because everybody's look. It was like a silent. We could hear a fly, a bee fly in the room.
3 call, 4 call, 5 call, 6 call. Four plays.
Yeah,
now
definitely.
Phil decided to place tens, just calling from the button after a raise from Trickett, a call. Oh, from the small blind. Sorry, the small blind.
He's been doing a lot of that, just flatting with 10s, jacks, and even queens twice. He just flats, even in a multi-way pot.
And boom, look, he surrenders right away.
2 call.
JP makes a strange bet with 8 high. Oh, and that's the 10. That's Phil's 10. I was going to feel a little sick there.
To check.
It's also a very good card for Sam Trickett because now he has an open-ended and Kelly is drawing absolutely dead. I think he just surrender here on the turn.
Yeah. Maybe not anymore. Now he could represent, of course, the ace. He's the original raiser, right?
Trickett is.
Oh.
Trickett raised in a cutoff position with Queen Jack and Kelly just called.
I mean, if you want to try to win this spot, this is definitely a good card for you or not?
I think it's one of the best.
Yeah.
Especially if your name is GP Kelly and you benefit of a very good tight image.
Yep.
But now they're both English, right? And they might know each other, so...
They definitely know each other. They definitely played a lot together.
Sam Trickett could be like, hey.
Still worth it. He makes it really small, like he really has the ace, so...
Yeah, it really looks like a value. Give me 1300, please. I like that. Those little pots, you know, in poker they don't look like crazy much.
But they add up.
But they add up at the end of a tournament when you play them. They don't look like nothing. They look like nothing. You only see most of the time. That's why it's very good to see a cash game like this on TV, because when you see some production only edited on TV with the final, you know, you only have the big pots played, and you don't have all those little pots that players win and pick up. Look at GP Kelly, the pots he takes, right? Just 3,500 in the pocket with 8 high, you know, and this is great. I mean, this is what poker is after all, and this is how at the end of the year, on the long term, you make a lot of money. So it's very important to see those little pots.
The next chapter of the big game about to unfold. The cast of characters is set. Leading the way, as he has done from the start, the great Phil Laak. JP Kelly, not happy in the supporting role, is chasing the limelight. Liviu and Yaiche are putting in solid performances, but plenty have been pushed off this stage. They just haven't read the script. Sexton, Trickett, Mizzi and co. are determined to add a new twist to the party poker Big Game 6.